So, hello, it is time to come back to the roots of the channel. It is about translating or explaining in English about these Finnish lyrics. One of my viewers, one of those very few ones, reached out to me actually almost half a year ago. Well, not that far away, but months ago, and asked if I could do Mustan, Kuun, Lapset lyrics, and he or she, I'm not sure, doesn't matter, asked me to do this song Kohti Valoa from their latest album, but I decided to do the whole album. The reason why I'm doing this so late is because I have been very, very busy, and I just managed barely to get my thesis, and I'm just about to get the degree papers probably next week. So, right, and I've been doing my summer job at the graveyard for the whole summer as well, and some other stuff. So I've been really busy lately. So, and doing these translation things take quite some time because I have to do some research and so on. Well, here will be the first song of the album. It's called Kuninkaan uni, and it basically means the sleep of the king. And the king in this case is crane, the bird, that very big bird with curved nose, pick, or whatever it is called. Don't really care. Anyway, a really big bird, and overall this whole song, and actually the whole album, is quite like, I think it has two dimensions, or more likely two themes. It is kind of like painting some sort of landscape, very Finnish kind of landscape, especially in some deep forests, maybe in more northern parts of Finland, not so much in the southern parts, and but also some sort of personal struggles with with yourself and with your relationship. There is really nothing complicated about the themes. It's kind of fairly straightforward, although the language is quite advanced, and I know that if you would go to a dictionary and translate every single word, you would probably get it wrong. These sentence structures are quite hard to understand, even for me as a native speaker, let alone to someone who doesn't know a shit about Finnish language. But I will try my best. So the first verse of Kuninkaan uni, sleep of the king. Well, here we actually do have two sentences that I have translated in the other way. Okay, so quite literally, this second sentence, "Käänsi kevät viimein," is actually translated here, "Spring finally turned wedge's direction to the north." So there is the wedge, which is in this case the crane wedge, and it has a direction. They are going to north, but it is the spring, spring that finally turned the direction to the north. Okay, so the wedge of cranes at the autumn, at the fall, goes to the south. Okay, they stay somewhere there, I don't know exactly where they do actually spend their winter, but they are somewhere south, and then when the spring comes, their direction kind of turns to the north as they come back here. Now, the funny thing about wedge and this word here, aura is actually also not only wedge but also a plough. Don't know how that is pronounced, but anyway, the machine that turns the soil over. You probably know what it is. It also means plough, the one that we use for snow plough. You can take snow away. And also that sort of psychological term aura. Not exactly sure how to describe the word, but I guess you know what aura means in psychology. It means that as well. Okay. And aura is also, it can refer to a place in our old capital city called Turku. Well, whether it was actually our capital city is its whole debates. Let's not get into that. But anyway, there is Aurajoki, which is a river, and what else? I think it is a part of the city, maybe some sort of village. Not sure what everything that relates to that. And we also do have a molded cheese brand called Aura, and beer brand. And I actually even spent the first 6 years of my school in a village called Arrakoski, which basically means Aurakoski, which then means Plough River or something like that. Anyway, these next two so this spring that finally turned the direction of the wedges, it nursed sunray to become alive, and then winter took its strength away with it, something like that. Okay. So as the new spring comes, the winter kind of dies or doesn't have its strength anymore, no affection or anything, and so it kind of like goes away. That's what it basically means. Okay. So this whole thing is about coming, the new spring, that how new light is coming and so on. And, also about the cranes as some sort of metaphor. Yeah. The chorus, nouseva valo voittaa, a rising light wins. That's pretty straightforward. It wins a night that lasts half a year. No, in Northern Hemisphere there is, well, actually very close to the North Pole, you do have exactly half a year of no light. I mean, very, very little light. The sun doesn't rise above the horizon ever, and then half a year it is all the time above the horizon. So in the northern parts of Finland it is similar to that. So half a year night, that is what the rising light wins. Okay, the rising light reaches the most sleepy creatures or plants or whatever. And then this is actually quite odd, quite odd sentence here. Strong heart is still about the beats. Even in Finnish it kind of sounds something that quite doesn't belong here, but it still has some sort of similar hopeful tone to it. There is something hopeful about this sentence and something hopeful about the previous sentence as well. but overall it kind of sounds misplaced here. But anyway, strong heart is still about to beat. Strong heart is still beating. Okay, this is something where the narrator is trying to ask Spring to do, this new Spring to do. Well, I assume it is he because the singer is male. He wants that the Spring ushers these cranes, the birds, to somewhere safe. And he also assumes that a safe place is this northern land here. Well, as you probably know from the meme, Ma actually can mean a lot of things. But in this context it is land, as it is some sort of area that has its own characteristics, but is not. It doesn't have strict borders anyway. Okay. Then oksat suuta pesän taittelee. This is actually very hard to translate. But there is pesä, which is nest. Okay. And it has its own sort of doorway or something like that. Suu itself means mouth, so it is kind of like opening. So I think opening of the nest is probably the most correct one, but there really isn't a translation to that, direct translation. And then there are branches that are there on the opening of the nest. So he wants that the Spring would fold those branches away from the opening of the nest. Okay. To the sleepy king, which is apparently the crane, though I don't think cranes do have that sort of winter sleeping. Not sure what it is in English, but anyway, it also kind of sounds like they are here referring to a bear, which is usually described as the king of the forest in Finland, kind of like lion is the king of the jungle or whatever. Yeah. Then there are the chorus 2 times. We already translated that one, and then there is finally verse. You can actually see here the next song, which I have not yet translated. I will do it later, probably pretty soon anyway. Now here he is again kind of like hoping and asking Spring to do stuff. In this case he wants that he would give us some warmth. Okay. Now this word here, suo, basically mean letting. In this context, that you would let something to do something, or you let someone have something that you probably do. And but it also could mean swamp. Okay. Now this is actually also one of the hardest words to translate. Well, this is actually the basic form here, korpi. Well, I have here translated as backwoods. Some years ago I found this translation. Not today though, but anyway, it will do. It is a dark and deep place, probably very foresty place. It is a place where sun doesn't shine, metaphorically, obviously. Okay, so let the Spring give the warmth to the king of the backwoods, and the king of the backwoods is in this case grey. This is some sort of impossible to translate. I don't even know exactly sure what it means. Päivänsäde is definitely sun ray, that is obvious, and this word is springing. This is actually literally from the head. I don't know what else it could be. This context doesn't say anything. There is nothing that refers to any other translation than this one, but it doesn't fit there. Sun ray brings from the head doesn't mean anything that makes sense. I'm sorry. Okay. But anyway, he wants that sun ray would be brought from the head to under this backwood spruce. So here we do have the backwood, and kuusi itself means spruce, the tree. So that's had a lot of landscape painting and stuff going on here. I hope you like this. If you did, ask some more and subscribe and like, and you know what to do. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.